Good evening, boys and girls, no matter in the world, where in the world you might be. Welcome to another live edition of the Highbury Squad. I am pretty sure that Arsenal fans were smiling this weekend, not only because of our performance on Friday, but because of other results too. It's been a long time. We're on a roll. Can we keep it going? It's Monday Madness Top 5 Talking Points. Here we go.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Well, hello, hello, hello. The legend that is Super Kev Campbell returns to the squad.
Hey. Good to be back, squaddies. At ease, guys. What a weekend.
What a football weekend, Super Kev. And it was just glorious all the way. Although you're Everton. Sorry about that.
Hey, listen, it happens sometimes. Hey, we know it can happen. Mm-hmm. We've had it ourselves at times. But, wow, yesterday's game was like...
That was brutal, man.
That was the shocking one, wasn't it? Real shocking.
Yeah, yeah. Raid wants to say, big up, Kev. Keep the positivity and support for the club. We need all the support we can get now. We've got Martin who's saying, is it Monday Madness or Monday Happiness?
Always madness.
Always madness, because within the madness
is close to happiness.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Come on, you Gunners. Good evening to the usual suspects in the house. We got Lone Star, we got Martin, we have got Taib, of course, and the usual crew. Tammy, welcome back. Kev, the squad's here, and I'm going to kick off our top 5 talking points. Although before I do that, hi Liz and Josh, Stephen, Matty K, whole crew's here, basically. Soph's here. Everyone's here. Right. Good evening, everybody.
Can I just say something?
You can say anything quickly, you want. You're Super Kev, Super Kevin Campbell.
The squaddies a question. How was their weekend? After winning on Friday night, how was their weekend? Remember I said, watch all the other teams and take it all in. How did you spend your weekend watching our rivals?
All right. Well, we've got a few squaddies. We've had Iceland so far, San Diego, Orlando, London, and many more. Let Kev know how your weekend was. Weekend was fantastic for LS. Very good weekend for Boy. Gunner for life. Fantastic, Kev. Steven says pretty good. Kev, are we that fickle? Football affects how we feel.
100%. 100%. Sophie, do you know, I always say it, Sophie, winning cures everything.
Yes.
And when you win and you play well, like guys and girls haven't got a care in the world, have they? They go into the week, especially when it's a Friday, you go into the weekend with a big smile on your face. You're watching all the other teams, you know, what are you going to do? You know, we've got 3 points.
I have a few more for you here. Dimitri says it was the most relaxing weekend in ages, Kev. Tom Gardner, no relation to Tony Gardner. By any chance, are you Tom Gardner? I enjoyed watching Spurs lose. Run with cows. Yep, Friday result made me wreck. Mark spent my weekend.
Yeah, that was made my weekend. Spent my weekend doing it. Vancouver, Sydney, nice one. Sophie, it makes a massive difference.
Look at they're all like, yeah, they had, and of course, seeing United get whipped, which I'm going to get to in the top 5 talking points today. Of course, we have to talk about that. But it makes a massive difference. And when we've been where we've been lately, it really adds to the flavor. And the fact that we're able to enjoy that Friday night through Sunday and then see Spurs lose to West Ham, they were terrible. It's so good to see.
They weren't that good.
They were terrible.
They weren't that good. And you know what, Sophie? Do you remember on here people were telling us how great Nuno was and they've already got a way of playing and...
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, exactly. Really? And also I was on, when I did the Sky Sports segment, remember, with Chris Cowlin, who's a huge influencer in the Spurs YouTube universe. They asked us about St. Totteringham's Day, and I said, this is going to be the season. Call me crazy, Kev. I think it's on like Donkey Kong. I'm not getting too excited, but they are not. Harry Kane is not. That move or lack of
They've messed it up.
Yeah, they've killed him. They've killed him.
They've killed him. You know, whether he loves the club or not, when someone says, no, you know what, you'll be allowed to leave, and he set his heart on leaving, and then you pull the plug on him, it's never going to be the same, Sophie.
Never. It isn't. And you know that as a professional when, you know, and you've seen your fellow professionals, a move's on and then it doesn't happen. It crushes you, affects you, the way you work, the way you think. I mean, clearly
but who he is, Sophie, that's the thing. He's the marquee player. You know, he's the marquee player. He's the one who's pulled them out of the fires more than anybody else. Scored all the goals, and then the chairman pulls the plug on him. It's not right.
I know, Kev, that we joke about him and Spurs and stuff like that, but you can't deny he's saved them. He's been a one-man show. He's been unbelievable.
He has been unbelievable, Sophie. And, you know, I watch the game and I look at him and I just say, it's sad to see, Sophie. It really is sad to see because...
From a player point of view, saying that, right?
Yeah, because, listen, you know me, I got no love for Spurs. I got no love for Spurs whatsoever. Them losing makes my weekend too. Just adds a little bit of icing.
And right? I know because I get the memes on WhatsApp.
You get the memes and all that from me, right? But Sophie, a player to player, as a player, when you've been promised something, you can go, and then all of a sudden they renege on the promise. It's not right. It is not right, and they've actually killed him.
They have, and they've devalued him now in the marketplace.
Of course they have.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to kind of see that unfold. Although the good news for us is we've got 240 on a Monday night live in chat, a little later than scheduled.
Hit it on the way in, guys. Don't forget, hit it, caress it, nut it, nose it, touch it in the back of the net if you ain't that lot down the road. And if you don't do it on the way in, make sure you do it on the way out. Hit the like button.
All right, Kev. I'm going to share something as well with the listeners before we get stuck into the top 5 talking points too. I had the pleasure of being a special guest at the Premier League NBC Sports Fan Fest this weekend here in Los Angeles at the world famous Coliseum. It was absolutely epic. I arrived at the crack of crack. The moon's still up there, Kev. But the way they had it prepped and lit up, it was absolutely sensational. Our good friend of the show, Rebecca Lowe, sent me a very special invitation. It was great to visit with her. She sends her love. And
Diamond,
she's absolute diamond. Paul Buckley's finally going to come on the show, Kev, and have this. One. We're going to put it to bed on this FA Youth Cup game, that's for sure.
Can't wait.
And also, Robbie Earl sends his love and was asking about you, as was Robbie Mustoe as well. And, you know, another person I met that I'd interviewed a few times on the old show, World Football Daily. He's a bit of a Watford legend and he's a US men's national team legend. And he has a phenomenal story and backdrop. And that was Mr. Jay Demerit, Kev. And he came swanning in with this robe and stuff. And he saw me in my long leather jacket and he's like, we got to take a picture together. And then I said hello, and then he remembered kind of some of our interviews. He's going to come on the show and do an inside the dressing room with you. What he's doing for young footballers in America is incredible. You're going to love the story. And I tell you something, I know your Toffees lost to Watford over the weekend, but let me tell you, the couple Watford I saw 2 Watford shirts and one was Jay Demerit. So, yeah. It was great. It was really cool. Did I lose Kev? Did Kev freeze in time? I think Kev's frozen. Oh.
No.
I'm okay. I'm all right. Because I mentioned Everton losing.
I weren't happy with that, though.
No, I know. But,
that was a bit painful, that one.
Yeah, I think, you know, what he's doing in football is really awesome. So, and Rebecca is very cool. I mean, she rocked it. Kev, There were thousands of fans there, and it was Man United Liverpool yesterday, and it was red everywhere. Red. I saw a few Gooners. I got to meet Jess as well. Got to say hi to Jess and give her a hug. And also, I will share those pictures tomorrow. I don't know why they didn't download, but I met with our really good friend Taylor from Arsenal Los Angeles, and he bought me some T-shirts and stuff like that. And I'm going to share that with you guys this week as well. But it was really cool just to see all of the fans in the United States, what the Premier League means to them. And I tell you something, those it didn't take too long for those United fans to. It was crazy.
Well, I'm sure we're going to cover it.
We are. Why don't we get to it? Thanks to everyone that came to say hi yesterday. And I do believe I have a shot of this. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe one day, someday, an Arsenal player will get as close. Oh, here it is.
Oh, go on then, Soph.
It's me in the Premier League trophy, Kev.
And I see the colours on it as well. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't like blue. We want those to be red.
Yep. We need red. Arsenal
and then
red.
One of my other most favourite moments was, of course, Coach Beard from Ted Lasso is a Gooner. And I am very happy to announce that Coach Beard will be coming on the Highbury squad in the next few weeks. You guys have a lot to look forward to. Kev, I know that he's chronicled that he was a Gooner. Jessica told me this, our good friend Jessica from Arsenal America. And in the initial skit that they did, and you know, Ted Lasso was Tottenham manager, he was saying how hard it was for him to do that. I hadn't seen that story.
Well, I've never even seen the program, so I don't know what you're talking about. But if he's a Gooner, it's going to be hard for him to be their manager, no matter what, isn't it? You know what, Kev? He knew everything about the team, our situation. I mean, you know, he was talking about the game. He watched the game on Friday. It was so epic. He loves the He loves the club. He's a total Gooner. He knows his football. Coach Beard, thank you so much for taking time to chat with me. And we cannot wait to have you on the show. He is an epic, epic guy. All right, that's the roundup from the weekend, and 315 of you in live chat. If you want me to make sure that Coach Beard doesn't drop you when he comes on the show, you better hit the like button and subscribe. Kev, here we go. What a weekend. What a great start. We didn't get to have a deep chat about the Arsenal's performance on the Friday. So my first talking point to you is a question that's not supposed to be incendiary? Maybe that's not the right word. Incendiary.
In any way, but I really genuinely want to ask you, it was so phenomenal, and that's probably our best performance so far this year. Do you think that we won because of the manager or the players?
The players, Sophie. 100% the player. Sophie, look, let's throw off the shackles. When them players go out there for a game and they perform like that, Sophie, it is encapsulated 5 days, our performances over 5 days. On the Monday, Sophie, there's a meltdown. It's the manager, it's this, that, the other. I'm saying it's the players. The players need to perform. Then we get to the Friday, Sophie, and they wipe the floor with Villa. Let's be honest. We wipe the floor with Villa. And Villa, in all intents and purposes, they are a dangerous side. People are talking about Martinez and Ollie Watkins and Danny Ings and Buendia and all these guys. We wipe the floor with them. Why? Because our players done their job, Soph. And then a little bit more. So, again, players make managers. Not the other way around. Definitely not the other way around. You know why? Because players don't play. I'm sorry, managers don't play. Players play.
So let me ask you this, because there's a kind of a dovetail story, and we've often given examples of Ole and Mikel, right? And I'm just riffing off you right now. Why is it then that everyone is calling for Ole's head today? when they got battered by Liverpool in the manner of which they did at home, Kev.
Why? You're saying why?
How? Whose fault is it?
No,
is it the players?
Are you saying why?
I'm asking whose fault it is.
Okay, whose fault is it? Remember,
Yes.
the buck, as I've always said, the buck stops with the manager at the end of the day. But it's the players that go out there to perform. With the squad that Manchester United have got, Sophie. Remember, in this big game, the biggest game in the Premier League, so people tell me, Manchester United have never lost to that score. Never. In all the history.
That's correct.
All of a sudden, with this squad, they lose 5 at home. Could you imagine that happening against Spurs for us? Do you reckon they'll be calling for the manager's head? They'll be calling for the manager's head when we drew. Let alone losing 5-0 to you, right? Sophie, at the end of the day, I think Manchester United fans realise there's an imbalance. There's an imbalance in the squad. Something just isn't meshing. Something is not meshing. And Sophie, think about the week they've had. They got beat 4-2 at Leicester. Then they play Atalanta, 2-0 up, who absolutely should have been out of sight. They come back in the second half, paper the cracks. We talk about this normally. Paper all the cracks. And then, I don't know if you heard it, Paul Scholes said if they played against a better side, they better be careful. If you play against a better side and you play like that, you got no chance. And this is what happened. Why? Because there's such an imbalance in the team. Such an imbalance. And at the end of the day, the buck stops with the manager.
Yeah. I actually agree. Martin, I've always felt this way. It's 50-50. It takes one to set the team up and then the next 50 is for the team to go out and win. You know, Kev, the Paul Scholes comment was actually directed for the Liverpool game. He said that if we play
100%.
like this against Liverpool, we'll be down 4-0 at half time.
So we'll be finished. Yep.
It's unbelievable. So I don't want to get this into a Manchester United thing, but you know how sometimes we talk about Pepe and when Pepe doesn't play, because some fans don't think he tracks back the press and how important that is in modern day football. A lot of people think that Ronaldo's inclusion has hurt Man United because he doesn't like to press at all. I mean, I would say Fred and McTominay are so average to be wearing a Man United shirt. Come on now. And if you remember, Kev, I also made a bold statement where I said Ben White could be as good as Harry Maguire, if not better. And Harry Maguire has been absolute.
People came after you.
They certainly did. And he's been terrible. I know he's coming back from an injury, but he's been terrible. So there is a lot of similarities in the legendary managers leave. The teams go through transition. They've spent a shit ton more money than we have. They've got Pogba, they've got Sancho, they've got Greenwood, they've got Rashford, they've got Ronaldo, they've got Varane, they've got De Gea, they've got Fernandes.
They've got Cavani. I mean, it's the Greenwood young player come. I mean, look at their squad. It's ridiculous. And they should not be losing at home to Liverpool 5. No way, Jose.
That's him. To me, if any team in any land, if that was Roman Abramovich, he'd be out already. He would have been sacked that night. Forget about it, right? That is to me, I know, don't come at me, everyone, but for me, Man United Liverpool is a much bigger game than El Clasico. For me, because I grew up watching that my entire life. Now, I love Real Madrid, Barcelona, and especially when there
Madrid won, by the way.
They did, which was, you love to see it.
I love it.
But Liverpool, Man United is like pin it. There's certain games. And for Manchester United to lose at home in a humiliating fashion like this, you guys want to point the finger at our owners, rightly so. Okay. But when you're Manchester United and you still haven't sacked him for that, Kev, my mind's blown.
Yeah, well, again, I think these guys they're not knee-jerk. They're definitely not going to make a knee-jerk decision, Sophie. They're not. And they've invested quite a lot of money with Ollie. So, you know, I could see them giving him to the end of the season. So
no,
I really can.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Kev, do you think, remember when you said you thought Xhaka bailed out on the Chelsea game because of his challenge? Do you think Pogba did the same the other day because he's so pissed off having to be on the bench?
What, bailed out on the Man City game, you mean?
Yeah, when he bailed... Xhaka, yeah. Sorry, City, yeah.
No, I don't think Pogba did. I thought Pogba... I think Pogba was a bit frustrated, Soph. Because think about it, Sophie. Paul Pogba's a World Cup winner. Paul Pogba is one of the best midfielders in the world. And he's dropped for McTominay and Fred. So he comes on a 4-0. 4-0 down. He comes on. He's a bit frustrated. He's going to want to put it about a bit, Soph. And unfortunately, the tackle caught, you know, whoever, and he got sent off. But, you know, I know quite a few United fans who said, you know, at least he wanted to put a tackle in because the other midfielders, they didn't put a tackle in all day.
It's so interesting to me too when you look at everyone makes Pogba a scapegoat, right? But at the same time, I think he's quality. I just think to think that McTominay and Fred start above Paul Pogba is just alarming to me. I don't know what that is about. And to see a young player from, you know, an English player like Jadon Sancho just regress, even Van der Beek, he was hot property before he went there. So when we look at our problems versus their problems, I'm not saying we're better than them, you guys, but when you look at their talent versus ours, and yet we're equal on points now in the league, Kev?
Yeah. You look at the squads, yeah. You look at the squads and then you look at the points tally.
It's alarming, isn't it?
Yeah, it's tough for them.
Okay. So your answer to talking point number one is that it is the buck always stops with the manager, but the players are responsible, of course.
Well, the players, Sophie, the players are the ones who have to execute. So the manager could he can have the best game plan in the world, Sophie. If they don't win, it's there to be criticised.
They looked clueless against Liverpool. They looked absolute. I've never seen a Manchester United team look this clueless. And I know that we got trounced by City, you guys. This isn't me comparing the results and the scores. It's comparing the trajectory of our stories. You know,
here's what I will say. Let me just help you there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got trounced by Manchester City. Yes, we did. But ever since we got certain players in, we haven't been great certain games, but we've looked a lot more solid.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point you're getting at. You're getting at Manchester United. Normally, they'll be solid at the back and they'll play on the counter attack and they look like a team. Now they look unbalanced, disjointed. And Sophie, this is one thing I will say: if you leave Mo Salah with all that space in your box, you're in trouble.
It was embarrassing, Kev. It was absolutely embarrassing. Like, they really humiliated them. And I think the other thing, too, to take into consideration is people expect us to get thrashed by City. They just do. And they have done over the years. And you could say, I don't blame you, right? But people were not expecting Man United. I mean, of course, Paul Scholes could see it from a different perspective. But they were not ready for that game at all. At all. All right.
Oh, Sophie, I think you're wrong. I think they were ready for the game. The problem is they're not good enough to execute the plan.
You know what it is too, Kev, that's been lost in the narrative since the humiliating loss? And I tell you, those fans there were bruised. Oh, they were bruised. I mean, credit to them. They never left yesterday. They stuck with it. But my goodness, the ratio of United to Liverpool fans, I thought it'd be more even, but there were a lot more United fans there than Liverpool fans. And my gosh, they let them hear it. Which, by the way, can I say, there were a lot of West Ham fans there earlier in the day, and hearing them sing their Hammer songs to a few of the Spurs fans that were there. Oh, it was just golden. It was absolute gold. I loved it. I can't remember what I was saying beforehand now because I got excited about thinking that Tottenham lost to Spurs. Why don't we move on? I think there's a lot of similarities to legendary managers, like I said. United have gone through a variety of managers. We have gone through a caretaker and 2 managers now. No one's saying that Arteta's the answer. But when you look at what's happening between the 2 now based on what one has spent and the other, and you look at the manager, and I was asked on TalkSport by Paul Ross, he said, Sophie, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Arteta were to be fired tomorrow, who do you think would get a job at a decent club? And without hesitation, and you know I've been critical of him, is Arteta.
Of course it is.
Because he has the pedigree. He's been an understudy to Pep Guardiola. You know, he's part of that Pep Guardiola tree, like the Bill Belichick tree, right, in the NFL. Like the Sir Bobby Robson tree with all the folks that he's had under him training, you know, when they were assistants and stuff, Kevin coaching. Yeah. So yeah, I want to move on to something. Let's get back to the Arsenal a little bit more, even though that was an interesting kind of dual conversation about the 2 clubs that really set the Premier League on fire. Let's be honest. This guy, I asked you, Dan Potts and Lee Judges at the start of the season, who would have the better season? I said Emile Smith-Rowe, and I think the rest of you went for Saka. I'm not going to compare him and Saka, Kev, at all. But what I do want to know from you is, has he become more important than most players in the team, but has he established himself as more important than Martin Ødegaard at this point in the season?
More important? No, I think the key is Emile Smith-Rowe needs to establish himself as a first team player. That's the key. And that comes with being consistent, Sophie. Now, at the end of the day, Emile Smith-Rowe, we know he's such a talented footballer. We know that. But we've often said there has to be production when he plays. That's what, when you have that sort of talent, him and Saka need to produce more for the team. And I thought on Friday, he was outstanding, Smith-Rowe. And do you know what, Sophie? Many people don't say it. The system changed. And Smith-Rowe was man of the match, I believe. You know, was man of the match. Excellent player. He could play from that left-hand side and drift. And, you know, ended up getting the 3rd goal with a nice little deflection, which we take. But at the end of the day, we need to see it again and again and again and again. This is what we need to see. At the moment, he's definitely showing us his talent. Definitely.
And this is why I put marks up as you were saying that, coincidentally. I do think he's strung now some performances together that have been consistent. He hasn't dipped too much up and down like we've seen. He seems to be really comfortable, even more so in the shirt now, proving himself, driving this team forward. And some folks are saying in chat, Kevin, do you think positionally it matters when we're having this conversation? Like, does he shine more on the left? Like, does he shine more if he's not playing with Ødegaard in the same squad?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. They played pretty well against Spurs together, didn't they? So, again, I don't even want to have that conversation anymore because good players can play together. I just think Smith-Rowe operating on the left-hand side actually works better for him Here's the reason why. Because he can drift. He doesn't need to stay outside on the chalk. He can come inside and not be picked up, and then pick the ball up and run at people. And that's where he's at his most dangerous. Running at people with that football, playing 1-2s. And the way he scored the goal, obviously was a 1-2, big ball over the back. He gets onto it, and the positivity, Sophie, to drive for the box, have a shot, it was fantastic. So well done.
Yeah, definitely. A special hello to Matthew Hudson. We always appreciate Matthew. He is the Vinny gift creator, so we always love to give him an extra hello. Okay, Kev, let's get to point number 3. And I'm going to try and marry him in with 2 other players. One other player in particular. But let's talk Lacazette. You've always said, and I love to give you kudos when you deserve it. You've always said...
You'd love to batter me as well.
We're just talking about kudos today. You've always said that this team has to play their best players, and Lacazette and Aubameyang together create something, even though some people may think Lacazette doesn't score. You've always said in that number 9 role, although a lot of people said he was playing like a 10 in the match. And by the way, I did give you kudos with Mr. Hillier, because you remember the show we did about 3 months ago on the Tuesday-ish Club, where you guys 2 months ago were saying we should play 4-4-2. Mm-hmm. Kevin Hilsey Damas. It's a new show in itself. Lacazette, talk to me about all the things you've said, the 4-4-2.
Well, it's just the 4-4-2. And look, because I don't want people to get too caught up in formations. Mm-hmm. Because let me tell you something. 4-4-2 turns into 4-3-3, 4-2-4, 4-5-1. It can morph. But the key to it is when we're out of possession, we try and get the 2 banks of 4 together so we can work as pairs. Left-sided Smith Rowe with Tavares or Tavares or whatever you want to call him, left back. Tomiyasu and Saka on the right. And then you got Partey and Lokonga in midfield. You got the defense centre backs behind. So the doubles, and then you got the 2 front boys who can work as tandem. Partnerships, that's what can create real problems for the opposition, because everybody knows how to play it. So everybody knows how to defend that way. Okay? Mm-hmm. Here's the great thing about Lacazette. Lacazette can be effective up there on top on his own. He could be effective as a 2. But I tell you what, Sophie, he can drop deep into that 10 role to help the midfield out and leave Aubameyang on the shoulder at the top end of the pitch. So it seems like we're a 4-5-1. And he's trusted. They trust him with the ball, Sophie. They give him the ball and they can run off him. And he gets it and he uses it very well. And I tell you one thing that he is, Sophie, that a lot of people don't give him credit for. He's tough. He's tough. He wins free kicks. He battles players that are much bigger than him, and he holds his own up there, Sophie. So he's a bit of an unsung hero for us, Sophie, when he plays. And he hasn't played a lot, so, he's obviously his fitness ain't quite there yet. But, boy, did he make a difference on Friday. He made a huge difference.
And, Kev, my point number 3 was going to be the question, do you re-sign him for the 2 years? Would you do that? And some fans are like, he's playing out of his skin because it's a contract time. But I don't ever see Lacazette not putting in a shift. Like, I think that's a bit unfair when it comes to him. And also, the dovetail to that is, it seems like a lot of especially the younger players, they love playing with him. There's a different vibe to the team.
Yeah, he's an experienced player, but I think he's one of the experienced players who takes these young players under their wing and really gets involved with them, I think, on the training pitch. You could see that because they really trust him. You know, they trust what he says. They trust giving him the ball. Don't forget, when Saka and Smith Rowe got into the team last season, and don't forget it was that snow game at West Bromwich Albion, we saw some of the best football them three play together because it was Lacazette linking the play all the time so they can get their moves in. That was the key. But you know what, Sophie? Let's talk straight here. 2 years for Lacazette probably is not going to happen. I'm going to tell you why it's not going to happen. Because we need to get younger at the top end of the pitch. We do. We need to get younger. Two strikers over 30 is not going to work. We need a younger striker, maybe bigger, who can do that work. And he may not be as good as Lacazette at it at the moment, but we need a younger one, probably with a bit of size, so we could mix it up.
But Kev, do you not think that, especially Ober and Laka, gosh, touch wood, they're very rarely out injured for long periods, right? And, you know, everyone keeps lauding Ronaldo for being super fit and ready to play whenever. And I understand what you're saying. And we talk about having such a young team and needing the experience, and maybe to balance the books for like a season or two, keeping with them while these other younger players get better and better as time goes on. You're starting to get goals. Maybe we've talked about needing to get goals from different parts of the pitch as well.
I think, Sophie.
I would rather him than I'm sorry, I don't get the Calvert-Lewin thing. Sorry, I just don't get it. I don't see it.
We do see it because we can put crosses in and we could get someone to head it. We've mentioned about Tammy in the. I
think he's much better than Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Calvert-Lewin is a good young striker. He suffered a couple of injuries, but he's a good striker. He knows where the goal is. But here's the problem, Sophie. Here's the problem we've got. We need a really good all-rounder, and I can't see Everton selling DCL. No chance. No chance. But we need somebody who can do what Laka does with the same quality and be a threat. Goal-scoring threat in the box when balls are coming in. That's what we need. Now, people talk about different strikers. You know, Tony at Brentford, etc. Let's see how he does this season, because he's done okay. He's done okay, but it's his first season in the top flight. Let's see. I would have gone for Tammy, because all round, his game is pretty good all round. I'm telling you. Yeah,
and Lacazette. I mean, isn't he still just 28? Lacazette.
No,
he's 30. He's 30. Okay, and he's not 31 till next May.
And plus, Soph, his contract's up. That's the other problem.
Well, I guess his value right now is pretty good. I wouldn't get rid of him in January though, Kev, but then he'll go for free. And who's going to...
Do you know what, Soph? I think this is another one who we're going to just let go for free. I hope not.
Sad.
Because you know what, Sophie? If you're not going to re-sign him, you might as well sell him in January. But you have to replace him.
You do. And you guys, we mentioned Lukaku last year, and everyone laughed at me and Kev. I mean, seriously, we said we need a target man, especially with the way Arteta likes to play through the flanks and whip the ball in. And, you know, those players aren't easy to find. And I agree with someone who said Dominic Calvert-Lewin's good in the air, but he's not that great with his feet. Some would argue Giroud. I think Giroud's probably the most underappreciated player we've had in the last 20 years at Arsenal. People just didn't get him because he had no pace, but he wasn't a pace player. Beckham wasn't a pace player, but Beckham was hugely talented and did his job. I think Giroud did his job. Some people will say his lack of goals cost us the title a few seasons ago. But Tammy is doing bits at Roma, and I think what you bring up a very valuable point, Kevin. The question is the kind of money that needs to be spent on a striker premium position. How much are you going to get for Lacazette? And, that's a conversation for another day, perhaps. But
probably get what you can if you're going to sell him. Get what you can.
He's such a leader, and he's so important, from what we've seen, what he brings to the table.
Sophie, if we could keep him, keep him, and get a bigger striker.
Yeah, because Balogun's got to go out on loan. You're very adamant about that, aren't you, Kev?
He has to, yeah. He has to go out on loan.
Okay. All right, that was number 3. Number 4, this one's juicy. I like it. Are you ready, squaddies? Kev, we've got 480 people in live chat. What do you want to say to them, Super Kev?
I want to say minimum 300. Hit the like button, kiss it, caress it, do a Vinny on it. Bang it. If you ate that lot down the road, on the way in or on the way out, make sure you hit it, or else it's Bruk the next time. Come on, squaddies. You know how this time. Or Sophie will take the samurai out. Go on, Vinny. Hit it. Hit the like.
All right, Super Kev. Number 4, I think you'll like this one. We've supported this guy since the day he signed. You know what, Arsenal fans? Look in your rearview mirror. Let it go. If you bashed him, that's okay. Because getting behind the new signings is important. We've done that on this show. Aaron Ramsdale was ridiculed. His signing was ridiculed. Everyone, we're not going to point fingers at each other, because all we know is that we love him and everyone's on board and you support him. Kev, I'm going to go out on a limb here. You're Everton and Jordan Pickford not having a great season. Gareth Southgate loves favourites. But let me tell you something. If Ramsdale's season goes on as it is there any chance he can be England's number 1 at the World Cup?
No.
Well, that blew my intro.
And the reason why I say that, Sophie, and this is the thing about international football, you tend to go with, especially at the goalkeeper position, you tend to go with the experience. And don't forget, before the Euros, people were questioning whether Pickford's going to be in goal. Pickford had his best spell for England in the Euros, I thought. I thought it was outstanding. So he's young, he's a good keeper, and yeah, he does have his moments, Sophie. He really does. But I think Ramsdale is slowly getting there. We want him to have a great season. Of course we do. He's our goalkeeper. He's our number 1 now. So let's be honest. He's our number 1 now. And we want to protect him. We want to keep him. But I think being England number 1 is going to take a little bit more than just having a good season for Arsenal. That's for sure.
Do you think Tom brings up a good point? Because we're seeing with Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire and Pickford. I mean, I would dare say there's been moments for Saka where he's played better for England than the Arsenal, less so. And also I think Saka just needs a rest, for crying out loud. He's been playing a lot of football and he's a baby. It's interesting, Kev, when they do play better for country versus club. Do we get a bit delusional with the talent value at all?
Well, you got to remember they're playing with the best players, aren't they? So at the end of the day, we've seen players play well for their clubs. Can't say that we haven't seen players play well for their clubs. And it's a throwaway shout, as far as I'm concerned, to say that they play better with England, because we've seen them have horrendous games for England, Sophie. We have seen, but this is all part and parcel of the life of a footballer. Saka's only young. He's a baby. Saka carried the team for the best part of last season. Yet we're turning around and saying he plays better for England. No, he doesn't. But just now, when really we could probably do with him being at that level that he was, he's just not quite there, because you know what? He's hardly had a break. And I think we're starting to see some of the guys in the Euros hit the buffers a bit.
Yeah. It's tiring. They've played a lot of football. They've come off a lot of football. It's true. Interesting comments over Ramsdale as well coming through. I'm putting up as many as I can. 500 of you live chat now here on this Monday night.
Just say Ramsdale is our number 2.
Yeah, and Leno and someone's saying someone's calling for Leno. I had it up and then I lost it.
But Sophie, can I say this as well?
You say whatever you want. You're Super Kevin Campbell.
Yeah, but I want to say this. All the smoke of these people, squaddies included, talking about Emi Martinez, Sophie.
I know.
I want the same energy. Come on, squaddies. Leno is not our number 1 anymore. Leno is finished at Arsenal unless Ramsdale gets injured. Ramsdale is proving everybody wrong.
He really is.
Boy, does it feel good to have a keeper like that, Sophie?
It certainly does. It's it's been a long time. He could be our keeper for 10 plus years, I just realised I had the ticker tape on the bottom from a show I pre-recorded this morning, The Talented Gooners, but that's all okay because you guys are going to love it. And when it comes out, you're going to enjoy it. And at the end of the show, I'm going to let you know that you can get a discount and it's real worth it for the holiday season. So stay tuned for that. Kev, do you think we're overly blowing his ability when he's got the ball at his feet? I don't think so at all.
Sophie, you say what you see, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I say it, you say it. It's the eye test. It's the eye test. When he's got the ball at his feet, does he hit a red shirt at the Emirates? Does he find our players? Does he put our players in difficult situations like we've seen Leno do? No, he doesn't. He tends to give better balls to the defenders where they've got a little bit more time. Even that split second more time is the difference whether they get a good pass off or they're under real pressure. So, again, I'm really impressed with the young man, Aaron Ramsdale. And, you're right, Sophie. He could be a stalwart, a number 1 for well over a decade.
And we've got the potential of, not that we care more about the Arsenal, of course, but you've got Ramsdale, you've got Ben White, you've got Saka, you've got Emile Smith-Rowe. I mean, Emile Smith-Rowe is pushing. It might be tough for him, but he's pushing to get into that team. Might be too soon for him for next summer. But, yeah.
Has anybody mentioned Ben White?
Well, I did on Friday, and I wish I had the clip of the run. No, they did when I talked about Harry Maguire at the beginning.
Yeah, but his performance on Friday I thought was outstanding.
It's his best game so far.
But again, Sophie, it's what is it? His 5th game, or 5th or 6th game? Sorry, 6 or whatever. Starting to understand what it's like to play for Arsenal now, and you're starting to get a little bit more confident. That driving run in the first half.
I love that.
That is a game changer, Sophie. That is a game changer because a defender who can do that, he turns defense into attack in a split second. I'm telling you, woo.
And his distribution was good, but then obviously it failed in the final third. However, I used to love it when Rio Ferdinand used to do that. John Terry used to do that a lot. Even Big Tony started doing that in the latter of his career, didn't he, under Wenger? I love seeing that defender drive forward like that. It was so good to see him have the confidence to do it. And he did something like David Luiz would have done. You're right.
Sophie,
yes.
Do you remember that goal?
Would you believe it?
Now, let's be honest. You would never believe Steve Bold chipping a through ball through for Tony Adams, who's the furthest forward for Arsenal.
Yeah.
But that's what confidence does for you. You know what I mean? That's what confidence does for you. And listen, I'd love to see Ben White do that and go for and join in and get a goal one day. Now,
so this is where sometimes I ask you where I'm like, Did he just take it upon himself to do that? Because you always say players just play when they're on the pitch. Or did Arteta give him license to do that, Kev?
I think he's always had license to do that. Because if there's grass in front of you, go and do it. You've got, again, Sophie, a manager's not going to say to you, don't do that. No. If that's what you need to do to get the team up the pitch and turn defence to attack, that's what you do it. I just think he's feeling a bit more confident now to execute that. The team were playing well. It kind of opened up for him.
Yeah.
And wow, he just drove all the way through and played the ball out wide, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
Again, these are the things why we signed him for £50 million.
And South London's finest. A lot of Leeds fans have told us that. And even Josh told us the same for Brighton, but he definitely did it more for Leeds under that Bielsa team.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
And he was a huge reason why they got promoting. Oh my gosh, who mentioned Thuram?
I'll tell you something. Let me tell
What a
you
defender,
something.
what a player.
As a striker, that is your worst nightmare. A centre-half who can just take the ball and go. Because remember, you're the first line of defence. It's our job to stop that. But once it opens up and he's gone, Sophie, you have to go. You have to get after him. And that's not what strikers want him to stay at that end of the pitch. So
totally,
he causes their centre midfielders couldn't even get near him.
No, it was great. And you know what? I don't care what anyone says. Aston Villa has been a team that has been lauded by the pundits and the media for the last 3 years. Okay, they've waxed lyrical about Dean Smith, and of course when Jack Grealish was there, their signing of Ollie Watkins. They humiliated us when they signed Buendia and we didn't. And you know what? This game, I think there was a little bit of that. Maybe the players, I don't know if they thought about it, talked about it, but there were a lot of Aston Villa darts our way. We lost to them twice last season. We haven't beaten them since the Unai Emery days. And this was a huge victory and monkey off Arteta's back and the team's back. And everyone lauded Villa's business in the summer. And I didn't think we would win. I hold my hands up. I couldn't see it coming because of the way we've played so poorly against them over the last 3 games. But,
and Monday's game.
Yeah. And of course, coming off that too. So I've got 2 more left for you. One is the last one and the next is a bonus. Hit that like button for us, you guys. Share and subscribe. You know me, Kev. I always go over the top.
Always a little bit of sauce on it.
Okay, I saved maybe the best to last because I think we know about Lacazette. We know about Emile Smith-Rowe. But I've asked you this question about Kieran Tierney, and maybe he's not the same player this season, carrying injuries, perhaps playing when he shouldn't. It's not easy. But Super Kev, don't calm me down. Put me in my seat, all right? Just give me some type of, should I
turn the oven down?
Muscle relaxer. Turn the oven down because my goodness, how much fun is Nuno? I mean, he is fun. He's energetic. He's fearless. He's really good. He added a whole other dimension. Him and Lacazette, I thought, were like fire. Simmer me down, Kev, because I don't want to get too excited about Nuno.
No, I think. Look, we all know what Kieran Tierney can bring to the party, to the show. We know what he can bring. But I thought it was quite refreshing to see somebody else in that position making a real difference. And it's just a pity Saka couldn't finish that one where, he's got beyond and he's put the ball across and Saka hit the goalkeeper. But he is... we talk about people getting an opportunity and them having to take it, Sophie. Well, wow. Did he not take that opportunity or what?
Oh, yeah.
He took it with both hands. And probably the 4-4-2 might have helped him a little bit because it's easier to play in a 4-4-2, whereas he's not exposed. He's always got somebody in front of him kind of thing. But you know what, Sophie? He's got some energy and some speed up and down that left-hand side. And, boy, Aston Villa just couldn't handle him, could they? They couldn't.
No.
When Smith-Rowe comes inside, the fullback doesn't know whether to go inside with him or to take the runner. I thought he was outstanding as well.
He was.
Real good.
He was. And you always talk about, like, when you get your chance, you got to show it. And sometimes some players can't right off the bat, but the ones they do, and if they don't fade, it's like you could see it immediately, the impact he had. And maybe at home that's going to be more beneficial. And a lot of folks in chat are really recognizing it, Kev, but they're also saying that's Kieran Tierney's position. No one is guaranteed a position, Kev. Or are they?
No, you know the funny thing, Sophie, and we talk. You say sometimes that managers have favourites, etc., etc. The key is you need a competitive squad. We need a competitive football team. Not only a team, we need a competitive squad. Now, I think you've mentioned in the last couple of games, obviously before Aston Villa, Kieran Tierney hasn't quite been himself. I thought he'd done enough just to be, just to play that left back beside Gabriel, and then you see Tavares come in, and then you see someone who is not going to sit back. He is not going to just settle. He's going to go and make it happen. And boy, did he go and make it happen. But now here's the thing. If Kieran Tierney's not going to be fit, this young man's going to be in there and he's going to say to himself, I've got a great opportunity here. And if he's playing well, Sophie, you can't drop him. Yeah,
exactly. Absolutely. Agree. And a lot of people are agreeing with you in chat, Kev, on this one. He is strong and he is determined. Some really great comments. And everyone talking about fast fallbacks being a necessity. I think Ryan made that comment that I put up in the modern game. And, yes, I think like every young player, Kev, his final end product, that's something that he's going to be able to work on. But the more experience he gets playing in the team, I think we'll see an improvement on that. But more importantly, they got him as a backup to Tierney. Tierney is injury prone. You hit the nail on the head right there, Kev, as Gunner for Life says, bang on. To know we have that type of player to come in, that's pretty exciting. And then you say to yourself, okay, we know Sambi's got talent, tick. We know Ramsdale so far is a good signing, tick. Now we're getting to see Nuno a little bit more, and there's maybe tick. There might be half ticks so far because it's still only October.
Still early. Tommy Yasu. Tommy. We know Tommy can play. We know Ødegaard could play, although we got left out. But it seems like we've got a bit of a squad coming now, Sophie.
Yes. That's
the key. The key is the squad. If the manager wants to change it, he can change it, and the people coming in are going to perform. That's been our problem.
Yes, and you know what? I do want to mention him, Andy. Kev, a really disappointing game against Palace. You always talk also, and I say maybe you always talk will be a t-shirt because I say that a lot, but you do. In the bounceability factor, bouncing back from a poor performance and being a young player in a new league, that was quite the bounce back for Sambi, wasn't it, on Friday, Kev?
Yeah, it was. He was excellent, and I think it was a bit of confidence that the manager started him, because we have a bad game, you give the ball away, and they end up scoring the second goal, and you probably think to yourself, I wonder if I'm going to play against Villa. But the manager trusted him, Sophie. He trusted him. He put him in the team. And I thought Sambi and Partey were outstanding in the centre of the pitch. Yeah. We talked about Aston Villa having a really good midfield. And I think they've got a really good midfield. But there were no patch on our guys.
No. So. And you know what? I'm sorry. Aston Villa are not a bad team. And if you read and hear what people were saying ahead of the game, and even I did not think we could beat this particular Aston Villa team, like I said, credit. I mean, it was a phenomenal performance. And it wasn't one of those where we took the lead and then put the handbrake on. We went fourth gear, fifth gear, no reverse, Kev. We just kept on. We dominated. We controlled it.
I wonder why, Sophie. I wonder why, Sophie. And this is the crazy thing in 5 days, Sophie. On the Monday, we started off well. And then it seemed like we ran out of steam, and people were saying that, we're playing with the handbrake on, and we regressed, and the manager told them to retreat. No. As I said, the players even come out and said they can't put their finger on it, Sophie, why they didn't push on.
I think they all bounce back together, like Arnie says.
As a team.
Yes.
As a team, Sophie.
Yes.
But you know what, Sophie? This week or that last week kind of sums up who we are at the moment, where we have an indifferent performance, Soph.
Yeah.
And then we go out there in a game where really, we haven't done well against Villa for 3 games or whatever, and we blow them away. And we owed them, Sophie.
We
after
did.
After they turned us over 3-0 at the Emirates and 1-0 at their gaff.
And credit to Mikel, he couldn't beat them. He hasn't beaten them. Last time was September 2019. And, he didn't put square pegs in round holes in that match. He served up a good team that went and executed some sexy sauce. And it was beautiful to watch. Right, we're going to get Kev out on this one. We're an hour in. Only going to go...
Sophie, you know what the 4-4-2 done? It made Aston Villa have to change.
Yes, and I love that. When was the last time we've had to do that to another team? I mean, I'm sure the chat will correct me and tell me, but...
So you can only do that if the players execute the plan. Because they never executed the plan last season twice. Or the one time before that, where we got beat at their gaff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the players have to, once they execute the plan out on the pitch, Sophie, the opposition have to adjust. And then you've got them. So they've had to adjust. That means they're down. Do you know what I mean? That means they're down. And again, credit to the team, Sophie. We played as a team, and credit to the team for going out there and performing.
Yeah. On Lee's channel over the weekend, Kev, I said, bottle it, bank it, PDF it, copy and paste it, play this way, and do it over and 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 over, ... again.
I wonder if Lacazette and Aubameyang start together as a front 2 against Leicester.
I would love that.
We need it. We need it. So let's see.
We do need it. All right, we'll get Kev out on this one. And credit to our regular Spurs fan, Ethelston, who comes in the show. He's offering us Harry Kane. Not sure we want him, but we could take him from you, I think, now anytime we want. So, but welcome. Very brave stepping into the chat today, considering the weekend that your team has.
Ethelston's going to be feeling it a bit, isn't he? Because, the way they started, the way Spurs started, they were hoping for a lot better, weren't they? And let's be honest, after we beat them, then they kind of went a little run again.
Yep.
And then kind of the wheels are falling off a little bit. So it's up and down, a bit like we've been, to be honest, Sophie. We've been up and down and up and down. So
yeah, I mean, and guys, when you see Liverpool and Chelsea and City play the way they're playing, we've got a long way to go. That is so on another level. We've got Liverpool coming up soon. Listen, it's not going to be easy, but we're going to keep doing what we're trying to do. Okay, I'll get you out on this one, Kev. It might be a little bit naughty, but I'm going to do it anyway.
I like the naughty ones. Go on.
Did you find any joy in Emi Martinez over the weekend in that game?
Joy? Me, joyful. Of course, Sophie. Sophie, bump your gums. He was bumping his gums about the Arsenal. Always chatting, bumping his gums about the Arsenal. Bump, 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 bump. He's not at the club. Worry about Villa. Don't worry about Arsenal. Do what you do. But he couldn't resist it, Sophie. Digging the knife in. Exactly, K. Marlon. Emi who? At the end of the day, Sophie, and I've said this previously, a decision was made and they cashed in on him. A lot of people were upset. Oh, why didn't we keep Emmy? Especially when Leno was carrying on and making some mistakes. But you know what? Leno's not even our number one anymore. We got Rambo, we got Rama, and he's producing the goods. And yeah, I don't dislike Emmy, but I've got to say I did enjoy the demise of that man on Friday. Yeah. I did enjoy it because bumping your gums, we discussed it, I think, last week. Ex-players who say they love the club and all that shouldn't be bumping their gums.
No, 100%. And I tell you what, sorry, man. Sorry, he was hurt. Poor baby. He got a great deal at Villa. And Run with Cows, don't blame him for hating us. We're just saying that after all the...
who do we blame then?
But the bumping gums, I'm not even going to... Like, Super Kev's analogy is perfection. I'm not even going to say anything other than that. But it was the Lacazette celebration too. I mean, it was just... We have that done to us all the time. Bask in it, bathe in it, put aftershave...
Dip it.
I wish if I could sell the Emmy Arsenal aftershave post Villa game, I would bathe in it all day long. It was so good. I'm sick and tired of people doing that to us and, you know, dissing us, ex-players dissing us, like trolled by Ozil and stuff like that. No, it was beautiful. It was glorious. And it was everything that game needed. And this is we said a little shithousery we will take, Kev.
Hey, by the way, that Ozil's team played my ex-team, and my ex-team sorted them right out. 3-1. Go on, Chavs on. So it was a great, apart from Everton, it was a cracking weekend.
It was. And they only ended up 2-2 in the Europa League, didn't they, as well? Yeah. So, all right, that's it. That's all we've got for you. Super Kev is working the Arsenal Leeds game tomorrow for Sky Sports. So those of you who get Sky Sports, you will have the... Kev, are you doing the draw after?
No, I'm not in the... I'm in studio, but I'm not in the main... I'm not doing the main game. I'm doing it for Sky Sports News. So it's not Thursday, so I won't have the Dicky Bow on, but tune in, guys. It should be interesting.
Are you doing a 3-piece or are you going to do a 2-piece tomorrow?
No, it's just going to be a jacket.
Okay, a jacket. All right, a bit more casual. Yeah. Actually, our good friend David Hillier. Once again, you're not getting the Tuesday-ish club because these two are working, okay? But here's the good news. Super Kev is not on Wednesday, but David Hillier will be on with me on Wednesday doing Super Kev things. And the two of them will return together the following week. We have an epic week lined up for you. A couple more new episodes of some of our new shows this season too, including Kev's Who Are You and Talented Gooners. And Kev, that's all I've got for tonight.
Well, Martin, no, I'm not doing commentary. I'm just covering the game. For Sky Sports News.
Oh, let's see.
So they come to me to report.
Yeah, I'll be on tomorrow night after the game. We're going to do a late night football show tomorrow. We'll have a quickie. Aye, Captain.
Well, if you do it later, I might be able to join you.
All right, then. Let's try and plan for that one, Super Kev.
Yeah, so you remember you usually go on and then I come in and join you once I get home. So
yeah. What do you think for tomorrow? They want a quick prediction from you.
I think more of the same. I think Leeds could cause us quite a few problems. Leeds tend to go young. We tend to go young as well. But I'm not too sure about tomorrow. I think Arsenal will win the game. I think probably 2-0. Arsenal win. Do
you think he's going to keep a few of the senior players in for tomorrow? Do you think you play Lacazette tomorrow? Or do you think he'll rest Ober and Lacazette because we got Leicester?
Yeah. Rest them up. I think the likes of Martinelli, those guys have got to get a chance now, Sophie. Mm-hmm. Pepe, Martinelli. Here's the stage. You know, it's a big game. Time for you guys to shine.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think that we might see them play. Might even see Balogun get a run out. You never know.
I could see that happening. I could see him. And also Leeds never gave up against Wolves, did they, at the weekend, Kev? They keep going at you. They keep going and coming at you. They haven't been as great this season as they were last season, but they're definitely a team that are well-oiled and he doesn't have them giving up. So we've got to get some insurance. Yeah. Yeah, I'm fancy a 3-1 tomorrow.
So if I'll take that, I'll take 3-1 again.
Lovely. I'll take like you say, I'll take a boring
1-0, thank you very much. As long as we're in the hat, that's what matters.
Exactly. All right, Super Kev, take us out.
Squaddies, thank you everyone I've missed you. I've got to say I've missed you. I'm glad everyone's had a lovely weekend after that win on Friday night. Sophie's controlled and looked after and hosted you unbelievably. And there were some very trying questions there, like, did I enjoy Emmy Martinez crying and all that kind of thing? Anyway, yes, I did. But, Squaddies, love you. I won't be with you tomorrow until I get back. So, Squaddies, enjoy your night. I salute you as always, everyone. Good evening, good night, and at ease.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.